One of the biggest frustrations I hear all the time about marketing is how expensive it is. And as a business owner, trust me, I can completely understand the irritation. Especially when everybody you talk to in marketing or sales, people who think they know your business better than you do, tell you that whatever you're spending isn't enough. But when done right, marketing shouldn't feel like a burden on your company. It should actually be something you're excited to spend money on. So in this video, I want to talk about some principles I use in my business and what I recommend to my clients when it comes for accounting for advertising expenses in their company. I'll also define some general marketing terminology and talk about some guidelines for how much you should expect to spend on specific marketing services. But before I get started, I do want to let you know about something we put together here at Excellent Media. With everything you're responsible for as a business owner or manager, it can be very difficult to find time to figure out this whole marketing thing. So we developed a 100% free training on how to leverage digital marketing to grow your business and acquire new customers. It's in-depth and practical with the goal to get you started getting results as soon as possible. Just click on the first link in the description to check it out. Marketing is a marathon, not a sprint. So if you want to be successful in the long term, you need to think of it as a recurring expense on a monthly basis, not something you spend on every once in a while. You have to run the race with endurance and grace, not sprint for some imaginary finish line. With that said, your company should be setting aside between 5 and 15% of gross revenue for marketing expenses annually. So that means if your company is doing $100,000 a year before taxes and expenses, you should be expecting to spend around $5,000 to $15,000 on marketing. And if your company is doing $1 million a year, then you should be expecting to spend somewhere around $100,000 a year or $10,000 or so a month. Some companies do manage to be successful spending more or less than this guideline, but most healthy businesses will fall somewhere in this range. If you stick to these guidelines, it takes a lot of the financial burden of marketing off of your business. So I'd really recommend that if you're talking to an agency or a freelancer and they're trying to convince you that you need to be spending much more than that, you find somebody else to work with. You want to be working with somebody who cares enough about you and your business to work with you rather than try and make a buck at your expense. In my business, when I bring on a new client, I always ask how much they're doing in annual gross revenue. Not because I'm trying to be nosy or get in on their private information, but because it communicates a lot to me about their business. For example, if a business is doing about $100K of gross revenue a year, I know they're not going to be able to spend much more than $10,000 a year or $1,000 a month on marketing without it really starting to hurt. I know that because I know the math on what a healthy budget in a business looks like and from my experience running my own business. So obviously, I'm not going to try to pitch them a $20,000 video commercial campaign to launch next month, even though technically they probably could make the numbers work to afford it. But it wouldn't get the appropriate results for their size of business, and it would cripple them financially for at least a year. Instead, they should probably be spending a little bit every month on social media or SEM for their website and saving the rest to do a 6-month specific ad campaign leading into their busy season next year to get an extra bump in revenue that works in cooperation with their natural ebb and flow of the business. Similarly, if a company is doing $1 to $2 million gross revenue a year, I know they can probably be excited about spending $10 to $20K per month on their marketing before it starts to feel like a burden on their business. So we'll probably put a few thousand of that into social media ads, another few thousand to SEO, maybe run a television ad campaign depending on their target demographic, and put a few more thousand into an industry-specific avenue of some kind. Of your entire marketing budget, traditionally you should be spending about 5 to 25% of it on creative materials like your website, commercial videos, graphic design, and so forth. The other 75 to 95% you should be spending on media buy, getting those creative materials in front of people. So you might spend this portion on social media marketing, on SEO, on a billboard, or even the salaries of an in-house sales team. If we go back to the example of a business doing $100K a year in gross revenue, they'll want to be spending about $10K a year of that on marketing. Of that, they'll want to spend somewhere between $500 to $2,500 on creative materials like their website and $7,500 to $9,500 on getting those materials in front of people through SEO or social media. If this is you and somebody tries to get you to spend $5,000 to $10,000 on a video, stop talking to them immediately. Even $3,000 on a single video at this level could be a very bad idea. They might not even realize it, but they're gonna end up wasting your money. It very well may be a great idea for you if you're doing a few $100,000 a year or more, but not if you're straddling 6 figures. Now, with that said, there are some strategies for marketing your business that spend considerably more on creative materials than media buy. This works particularly well when you're a company with a larger target demographic that isn't isolated to one geographic region, and you're able to build your own audience to market your products or service to. In this case, it makes a lot of sense to spend more money on creative materials to connect with your audience, since you won't have to spend as much money on the media placement to get it in front of them. This type of content marketing strategy is what I strongly recommend doing if it makes sense for your company. I would not recommend spending less than $5,000 on your website. While you might be able to find somebody to do it for less, often this will be at the expense of quality, reliability, and even security. Most web developers will charge anywhere from $5,000 to $20,000 for a basic website, with more custom options ranging into the hundreds of thousands of dollars. You should also expect to pay a monthly expense for web hosting, which can cost anywhere from a few dollars a month for shared hosting to several $100s for a private server. If this is way too much money for you to be spending on your website right now, that's completely okay. You do have some other options. A single page website or landing page, for example, you can usually get done for as little as a few $100s. You could also look into designing your website yourself using a service like Squarespace or Wix for a flat monthly fee of as little as $15. At the end of the day though, your website is an essential part of marketing your business, and hiring a professional and experienced team who specializes in developing websites designed to grow your business and make you money will often be a much better decision in the long run than just making it yourself. Alternatively, you can also create your business a Facebook page and use that as your website if you're just getting started and aren't ready to pay to have something custom developed. You'll just want to make sure that you're posting fresh and up-to-date content on a regular basis. If you're interested in how much our website packages cost at Excellent Media, you can find them at excellentmediamarketing.net/pricing. Getting the website made is only half the battle. The next step is getting that website to show up when somebody searches for it on Google. To do this, you'll have to spend money on SEO or SEM. SEO is short for search engine optimization. Essentially, this is the process of developing your website to where it organically shows up in the Google search results when somebody searches for something related to your product or service. It usually takes about 4 to 8 months to start showing up on the first page of Google, and up to a year before you really start seeing results and traffic to your website. For that reason, SEO is generally priced as a monthly expense ranging anywhere from $800 per month to several $1,000s per month, depending on how many search terms you want to show up for. Some SEO experts price their work by the hour rather than in a flat rate, in which case it's very common to spend anywhere from $85 to $200 per hour on your SEO expert. While you can find some freelancers to do your SEO for less than $800 a month, I would really strongly discourage you from doing so. It's very common for people to undercharge for SEO and then use what's called black hat tactics, which can actually hurt your ranking in the Google search results rather than help it. SEM is short for search engine marketing. Essentially, this is where instead of showing up organically when somebody searches for your product or service, they pay Google to just show your website at the top of the search results. There are pros and cons to this. For example, an obvious pro is that you can start showing up on Google searches today rather than having to wait for up to a year. You can also get started with this for only a few $100s a month depending on your industry. A major con, on the other hand, is that people are generally hesitant to click on the sponsored links at the top of the search results. In fact, websites that only use SEM generally get 90% less clicks when compared to websites with good SEO. So the money spent on SEM is much less effective than that spent on SEO. Like most things, you can do SEO yourself, though it will come with a steep learning curve and many hours of learning and research before you'll be able to do it effectively. While you can save some money doing it yourself, working with an experienced and professional team is the best way to guarantee that you'll be able to start actually seeing results and ranking in search results. Again, you can find specific information about the SEO and SEM packages that we offer at Excellent Media by going to excellentmedia.net/pricing. The cost of social media marketing can range pretty dramatically. For basic social media marketing, you can often find a freelancer or agency able to do it for as little as $500 a month, though usually you can expect to spend a few $1,000s a month. On the other hand, good content marketing strategy can cost anywhere from $2,000 to $10,000 per month. On top of the content and management costs, you'll probably also want to spend some money on advertising, paying platforms like Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube to show your ads to more people. While you can get started on this for as little as a few $100s per month, I'd recommend starting at least $500 to $800 per month, if not a few thousand if you can afford it, and scaling from there. Many companies even spend as much as several $100,000 or even $1 million on paid advertising for social media. Social media is perhaps one of the easiest ways that you can start marketing yourself for little to no expense. After all, setting up a Facebook page and Instagram account is completely free. While there are, of course, best methods and strategies that you can use to make your marketing on social media more effective, ultimately, you can start promoting your product or service today just by posting on these platforms with content intended to engage with your target demographic. Right now, we're working on producing quite a bit of content about what you can do yourself to market your company on social media, which you'll be able to find on our Excellent Media YouTube channel. For it to be effective, however, you do have to stay consistent. If you post one week and not the next, then you start to signal to the platform that you're not really serious about what you're doing. This can become fairly time intensive, especially if you're doing it yourself, which is a major reason why finding an agency or freelancer to take it over for you can make a lot of sense. Not to mention their skill and expertise on how to make content that is engaging and appealing to the people you're trying to reach. There's one more thing that you should keep in mind when it comes to social media marketing. When people search for you online, your website is not the only thing they'll end up looking at. For a lot of companies, as much as half of their online traffic can end up going to their Facebook page instead of their website. So it's really important, even if you have a really good website, to be posting up-to-date content on your social media accounts on a regular basis so that you look professional and trustworthy to those people who end up on your Facebook page instead of, or in addition to, your website. We offer a range of different social media packages at Excellent Media, all of which include professional photo, graphic, and video content designed to make you look professional online and appeal to your customer base. You can learn more about how we price our services at excellentmediamarketing.net/pricing. Your brand is the general impression and feeling a person gets when being exposed to your business. So it's incredibly important to make sure that you're being intentional about how you're presenting yourself to the world. With that said, branding can have some of the largest range in terms of pricing. You can get a logo done for as cheap as $5 on a website like Fiverr, but it probably won't be a good reflection of your company or brand. To have a professional who's experienced in both business marketing as well as design services put together branding guidelines for your company, often including a logo, color palette, and other general design elements, you should expect to spend anywhere from $1,000 to a few $100,000. The difference between the lower end of the cost spectrum to the higher will generally relate to the amount of feedback you can give on the designs without additional charge, the quality of the work, the speed at which you receive the work, and other factors. Design work also has a large range of pricing depending on what you're having designed. A t-shirt for your staff to wear on the work site won't cost more than $100 or a few $100s. Business cards can range anywhere from $50 for the design to as much as $3,000 depending on who you go with. As a general rule of thumb, you can expect design services to cost anywhere from $50 to $500 per hour. Many freelancers and agencies, including ourselves at Excellent Media, won't even do your website, social media, or other marketing services until you have a developed brand or at least a logo with some colors. Trying to market your company without established brand guidelines is like a blind man trying to lead the blind. So spending the money on a good logo and some developed brand guidelines often should be your first step in marketing your business. Again, for information about our specific pricing options for branding and design services, you can visit excellentmediamarketing.net/pricing. Commercial video can also have a wide range of pricing. On one hand, big car commercials can cost as much as several $100,000, even to millions of dollars. On the other hand, you can usually get a good video producer to make a few reels to market your business for a few $100s or less. Every video project is different, so to know exactly what it's going to cost, you'll need to get a custom quote from your producer. With that said, if you want to produce a 30-second commercial video, you're probably looking at around $1,000 to $3,000, though some projects could, of course, be more or less. But ultimately, you should be working with your marketing specialist or agency to determine an overall marketing strategy for your company, and then see how commercial video could fit into that strategy at a cost that makes sense for you and your business. If you'd like to talk to Excellent Media about producing a video for your company, you can go to excellentmediamarketing.net/contact to get in touch with us. Hanging a flyer or sign in a public place to let people know that you exist is perhaps one of the oldest forms of marketing. Whether you're hanging a sign in a grocery store or putting up a billboard by a freeway, there are some principles for how much you can expect to pay. The main thing you should understand is CPM, which is short for cost per thousand. This is used to calculate how much money you spend per thousand people that your ad gets in front of. For example, if you pay $1,000 to put up a billboard for a month in a location that normally sees about 10,000 people come through every month, you're paying about $10 per 1,000 people that you reach. There will also be an installment fee to have your ad placed, and you'll normally have to sign a contract for at least a year. Your CPM will depend on a number of factors, such as your industry and the quality of impressions that you make. For example, beauty and fashion companies may end up paying a premium to place their ads in a hair salon or nail parlor, whereas a local restaurant may be able to get a better price. You'll also have to pay more for better placement, even in the same location. For example, if you put up a big sign in a convocation center, the front and center billboard hung in the waiting area will cost a higher CPM than the poster hung up in the corner. The use of CPM to calculate advertising costs isn't just limited to physical advertising, though. It pretty much applies to all forms of media placement, including running TV commercials and social media ads. Ultimately, unless you're prepared to spend $2,000 to $10,000 a month minimum on physical advertising, focusing your advertising dollars on digital media such as social media and SEO is usually going to get your business farther. But as your company grows and your marketing capacity expands for it, placing some physical ads can be a great way to market your business. Every company is different, and how you market and advertise yourself will depend on who your target demographic is and what the best method is to reach them. But keep in mind that marketing is not a math equation where you input dollars and it spits out jobs and sales. For marketing to be effective, it takes iteration and long-term planning. I know for myself as a business owner, I'd rather hear that I could put $1 into marketing and get $2 back tomorrow. But unfortunately, that's not how it works. You have to build trust with your customers and establish yourself as a stable and dependable voice over the long term. That's why we've put together training at Excellent Media to help business owners learn how to leverage digital marketing to market and grow their business. It's in-depth and it's practical for business owners of all sizes, whether you're just starting up your company today or have been in business for 20 years. If you're interested, you can click on the first link in the description of this video to learn more. Thanks so much for watching, and may you have grace and endurance to run the race set before you in your business.